What is the laziest thing you do that would make even the laziest person cringe? I lived in this tiny apartment right above a grocery store. Most people would think living there meant quick trips downstairs for milk or bread. Not me. I had engineered the laziest grocery shopping method in human history, and I'm not even ashamed of it. I had this plastic storage crate tied to a rope that I'd lower out my kitchen window. The rope went down exactly to the loading dock area behind the store where they kept the dumpsters. I'd worked out this whole arrangement with Trevor, this college kid who worked the night shift stocking shelves. Trevor thought my setup was absolutely hilarious. He'd even text me when new stuff came in that he thought I'd want. I'd call the store around 10 at night when things got quiet, place my order with Trevor, and lower the crate. He'd load it up with whatever I needed, frozen pizzas, milk, even hot rotisserie chicken from the deli, and I'd haul it back up. Never had to put on shoes, never had to go outside, never had to deal with other people. The system worked perfectly for 8 months. I was getting fresh groceries delivered faster than any app could manage, and Trevor was making extra tips from me every week. I'd even gotten him to grab me coffee and donuts in the morning before his shift ended. My friends thought I was nuts, but they couldn't argue with the results. While they were driving to stores and waiting in checkout lines, I was eating fresh bakery items that had traveled exactly 12 feet from shelf to my kitchen table. Then Trevor got fired for something completely unrelated. Apparently, he'd been letting his friends take free energy drinks. The new night guy was this serious dude named Kevin who took his job way too seriously. First night Kevin worked, I lowered my crate like usual and called the store. Kevin answered, and I explained the situation. He hung up on me. I called back thinking we got disconnected, and he threatened to call the police if I didn't stop harassing the store. 2 days later, I'm sitting in my kitchen when I hear this commotion outside. I look out the window and see Kevin pointing up at my apartment, talking to some guy in a suit who's taking notes and taking pictures of my rope system. Turns out Kevin had called the store manager, who decided this was some kind of theft operation. They'd been reviewing security footage from the past few months and saw me lowering the crate hundreds of times. Even though I had receipts for most everything, some of the older ones had faded completely. The manager was convinced I'd been stealing merchandise and threatened to press charges unless I could prove I'd paid for every single item. Problem was, who keeps grocery receipts for 8 months? I had maybe half of them, and the thermal paper on most had turned completely blank. The store corporate office got involved, and they sent some loss prevention specialist who grilled me for 3 hours about my theft methodology. I kept explaining it was just convenient grocery delivery, but they were treating it like I was running some criminal enterprise. My landlord got a call from the store's lawyers demanding I remove my unauthorized equipment from the building exterior. The rope and crate were apparently violating some city ordinance about hanging objects from residential windows. The whole thing became this massive legal headache that could have cost me thousands in legal fees. My neighbor from across the hall, who I'd barely ever talked to, knocked on my door one day and said the store manager had been asking tenants questions about my suspicious activities. The final straw was when I went into the store to buy something normally, and Kevin followed me around the entire time like I was gonna stuff steaks down my pants. Other customers were staring, and I heard someone whisper something about that thief from upstairs. Rather than deal with lawyers and court dates and becoming the neighborhood grocery bandit, I just moved out. Found a place 6 blocks away where I actually have to walk to get food like a normal human being.